further into obscurity we go with a Zariel analysis. We hadn't had a bow analysis for a hot minute, and honestly the legend that fit best to do now is Zariel. Because as for Sword and Lance, I just covered both those not too long ago. Besides, I think you guys might find my opinion on Zariel to be quite interesting. Everybody hates him. Like, nobody likes him, without a doubt. You never hear someone say they even slightly like Zariel, right? Well, I might as well be in the 0.001% because I actually enjoy him a lot. I would definitely play him more if you didn't have, these. Anyways, he's definitely my favorite these legend, and almost the same for Bo, but not entirely. Of course, we have to talk about the SIGs. That's what he's mostly known for, am I right? Gauntlet Insig is super fun to use, whether it's gravity cancelled or just whatever. It's tough to counter too since you jump in such a weird way. Is it super great? I'd say no, but it definitely isn't weak. Has pretty damn good force too. Side sig covers a pretty wide area on the ground, and it definitely can be countered by just, you know, jumping. But it still isn't bad. Catch some ground dodges possibly, and you can kill fairly early with it. If not that, the enemy's far off stage. You'll see that the 6-spammers use it too. Gauntlet downsig reminds me of Wu Shang's Gauntlet downsig. Yeah, they actually aren't really that similar. They just remind me of each other. Zariel hits in a fairly good area around him and sends upwards. With Gauntlet's light attack kit, the Sig feels super good to use. OP? I wouldn't go that far. Bow and Sig I personally love using to catch people's dodges. I do side light, and the enemy will very likely dodge or jump up, and bam, I catch them. Definitely good for catching jumpers, and it sends at a downward angle. I personally like to do a gravity cancelled off stage. Not OP in my opinion, but super good. Also, there's that weird infinite combo you can do where you use Bow and Sig and then get interrupted immediately by a teammate, and then the stun on Zariel Bow and Sig will keep the enemy stunned for a while, so Zariel can just do another Insig and then rinse and repeat. Probably DIable, but super funny. Side Sig also isn't super safe to use. It's fairly good, but leaves you open to getting punished. Not a lot to say about it, just Insig and Downsig I have a lot more to say about. Downsig seems like his worst Sig, which I understand, although I like to use it gravity cancelled off stage, or even sliding off stage. Doesn't always work, but it has decent force and sometimes even takes a recovery. Super satisfying to me. Honestly, for Zariel, I would go with his Gauntlet game. Both Bow and Gauntlets are S tier right now, so you could technically go for either, but I feel like his Gauntlet game hits much harder, even for low speed, which we'll get into soon. Zariel skins for the most part actually go incredibly hard. They're mostly great, so let's go through them. First is God tier. Outer World is super underrated, but my personal favorite, and Urban Guardian is likely everyone's favorite, and I can't disagree, it's a badass skin. Pretty good as Beachside Zariel and Secret Admirer Zariel. Both very nice seasonal skins, although I tend to forget about Secret Admirer a lot. Mid tier has Darkheart and Archangel Zariel. Both look pretty decent. I feel like Darkheart is a bit forgotten about, but it looks pretty good in my opinion. Better than Archangel anyways. And then Med tier has just Archfiend Zariel. Looked pretty rad at the time of Battle Pass Season 1, but kinda fell down over time. Tier list wise, out of SA, B, C, and D, I want to place Zariel in a high B tier, low A tier. Technically that shouldn't make sense. He has Gauntlets and Bow, two S tier weapons, damn good SIGs, awesome but objectively great skins. What's the problem? Why is this dude not S tier? It's one fairly obvious answer, that being his stats. Personally, I love his stats, although most players likely won't agree with me. 7 attack, 4 dex, 7 defense, and 4 speed. You see, Gauntlets and Bow rely on speed a bit more. You could run 5 speed, which honestly I think you'd be fine doing that since it'd make him a bit more playable. If you run attack or defense stance, you'll be a bit more of a slow tank. With Gauntlets and Bow, I can see that being a bit difficult to play. I'm perfectly fine with it as I adapt to slow legends easily, but I know for a fact that's not how people flow. People just sort of tend to spam with him. Not just some people, I mean literally everyone. No shame towards Zariel mains, of course, but it's like worse than Nai, or Taros even. At least there's some good mains for those legends, but tell me, when's the last time you've seen a pro Zariel, or hell, even a diamond Zariel? Probably last week or at the local Walmart, but you get my point. They're rare to come across. It's definitely the stats that ruin him, otherwise his play rate would skyrocket. It's just sitting at the low 1% as of right now, which even for a Gauntlet legend is surprising, am I right? In conclusion, I actually like Zariel, and I would encourage you guys to play him, but I don't think I can convince you. But if you want to take the challenge, then go right ahead. I mean, hell, it's a miracle I'm telling people to play Gauntlets in the first place. I literally only like him because he's underrated. Well, okay, that's a lie. His stats are pretty awesome to me, his SIGs feel good, and he's underrated. But if Zarya had a higher play rate, like in the 2%, I would actually despise him. Maybe in another timeline, but that's not a place I'm willing to go to. And thanks for watching this analysis, and as usual, keep on brawling.